Morning. We made it through another workout.
Yes, we did.
We barely got out of bed this morning.
We barely did.
We got late. Computer.
We got there late. Oh, let me find you on here too. We got there late, and then we left late. So
well, we left late because you were dilly-dallying.
Dilly-dilly?
No, dilly-dally.
Ah.
Dilly-dilly apparently is good. Dilly-dally is bad.
Right, exactly.
I don't know what you were doing. You were supposed to be doing chest and what were you doing today? Chest and
chest
biceps?
and biceps, yes.
I walk in to find out what he's doing, and he's doing back. And I'm like, hey, I thought you said you weren't doing back today. So had to give him a hard time about that.
Yes.
But then we left.
Right. We have to be able to watch ourselves, folks. That way we know if it turns pixelate.
It's designed to pixelate, so
right.
He puts it on the on his phone down here.
Right.
So how was your workout overall, other than dilly-dallying?
My workout was good today. It was probably the best workout of the week.
Yeah, you said you were sore, though.
I was sore. So what's funny is, and I told you this morning, is my legs are extremely sore. Mm-hmm. There's the one body part that if you miss a day or something like that, it seems to get really sore is legs.
Right.
However, I've done shoulders, triceps, and back in addition to legs so far this week before today.
Right.
And when I was doing an exercise that caused me to stretch out a little bit, I realized, oh, my back is sore too, but not sore enough to overcompensate, overtake the
fact that your legs are sore.
Yeah, so that was kind of funny.
That's funny.
It's like, oh, okay.
I did back today. I had a pretty decent workout. Can't complain about it. If those of you who have been watching for a while may have noticed, usually I do chest cardio back, and this week I just did chest and then back, and that is because my lungs are still pretty heavy, and I just feel like I don't have the wind to do cardio.
Right. So ready? You're hearing it boil?
Yeah, I'm hearing it boil.
Ooh, she's right on top of that coffee. I like that.
So I'm good. I'm glad you had a good workout.
Yeah.
I heard you say you think for your fasting meal you're going to have salad.
Yeah, I'm already thinking towards my fasting meal, and since that's not till about 6 o'clock tonight, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's a while yet.
Yes. But, as we keep learning more stuff about how you get complete proteins in a plant-based diet and all that, I start thinking about that. So I understand that when I have my meal tonight, and I do plan on having a salad that's going to have nuts and seeds in it and beans, because we have all those things, as well as the greens and all the other good stuff. I'm also going to have a piece of bread of some kind, whether it's the wheat, organic whole wheat tortillas that we have, or the bread that you made.
It's pretty dense. It's yummy, but it's pretty dense.
Yes, but it's some form of bread because that'll help complete the protein source.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
So I have several books on hold at the library that they're gathering from all parts of the state.
Folks, we go pick up a book. Honestly, we went and picked up a book, too, that she had on hold, right, on reserve. We go to a networking event. She gets text at a networking event, there's another book for you.
So we went back on the way back.
And by the time we got back there, they had another one for her.
So yesterday we picked up 4 books.
Yes.
Hi, good morning, Donna.
Good morning, Donna.
So yesterday I got a couple of marketing books, which I won't show you guys because it's not relevant to this particular thing we're doing here. But I also picked up, I told you we watched the documentary In Defense of Food. I picked up the book that went along with that documentary, and I'm going to share some things we learned from it last night.
Right.
But I also picked up this one, which is the Forks Over Knives book. Can you see it?
Ooh, there you go.
Perfect. I picked up that one, so I haven't started reading it yet, but when I do, I will. I'll share information from it and stuff that's valuable in it. But if you're interested in reading it yourself, that's what it is.
And what's awesome about this book, folks, is what'd you say? The back half of it.
The back, like third of it, is
all
recipes.
Yes, basically plant-based recipes.
So I'll try some of them, and I'll let you know which ones are good and which ones you should try, and I'll post them. And the changes I make when I make them, because I never actually follow a recipe exactly.
We'll probably post her version of it, not the book's version.
But I will let you know if I got it from here. I'll say, hey, I got it from this book.
We don't want to infringe on them.
No, don't want to infringe on them. That would be not friendly. Yeah, so I'll let you know about that. But I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that we learned from In Defense of Food last night, and we're only like a chapter in.
Right. Now, folks, this one is on CD, by the way.
Yeah, so we're listening to it together. But so it's funny because he talks about how he doesn't understand how food got so complicated. Right. 100 years ago, you just ate food. It wasn't a thing. Right. And now we have nutritionists and we have all this advice and there's all this information out there, and we're getting less healthy and fatter.
What did he say the demise of the American diet is what did you? Oh God, nutriism,
nutrients. I can't even say the word.
Nutritionism.
Yeah, because he talks about how we talk about nutrients rather than about food, and it makes it impossible to eat food. And so what he says, and his name is Michael Pollan. In Defense of Food, he talks about if it has a nutrition claim, don't eat it. Real food doesn't have to make nutrition claims.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
Which is valid. I mean, real food already has the nutrients in, where the processed food has all the nutrients taken out, and then they put stuff back in.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So he said if it has health claims on it, don't eat it. It's probably not actually food.
Right, exactly.
And then he pointed out that when he wrote the book, and the book is a few years old. I'm not
2011,
sure.
I think?
I don't know if it was 11, 12, 13, 14, but it's several years old. Good morning, Sophie. It's nice to see you.
Hi,
Thanks
Sophie.
for saying hi. But when he wrote the book, the food marketing industry was $32 billion a year in the United States.
To convince you to eat.
To convince you to eat not food.
Yes.
Like, that's really, really strange. Like,
scary.
It was actually, I had to write it down. It was so shocking. I'm like, that's bizarre. I don't understand. So it's interesting that the more information that is out there about food and nutrition and nutritional people, people who are certified nutritionists, and the thing is, they're certified by the government, which is influenced by the food industry and the people who lobby for the food industry. That's where those nutritionists get their credentials. So that's a little scary for me.
Yeah. Hope I'm not jumping, but tell them about the 25% sugar.
Oh yeah, so I wrote this down on this other page. Apparently, the government has, in our government, like, this is what you should eat.
This is at the time of this book.
At the time, and I haven't looked it up if it's still this,
Right.
but I assume it might still be. It said that 25% of your calories could be from sugar. And the sugar lobbied for that number. Can you imagine eating a quarter of your calories from sugar?
Well, what did he say?
Oh,
excuse me. What did he say about the? I forget who the senator was now. That actually said.
Yeah, he tried and
said not to eat too much meat because it's not bad for you. Because it's bad for you.
Good morning, Sean.
And the meat lobbyists absolutely tore him. You know what?
Yeah, and they actually kicked him out. Like they lobbied against him.
Yes, but before he got out, it forced them. That's when it turned into, instead of talking about food that you should and should not eat, it talked about nutrients.
So it changed from eat less meat
Right.
because it has so much saturated fat and it's not good for you. The wording turned into eat less foods high in saturated fat,
Right.
which is completely random, and you can't even, like, that's not food.
Right.
So it was interesting the way that the food lobby, the beef lobby, I think it was,
Yes, beef. Yeah.
pushed for that, changed the wording.
And they got him out of office.
And they did, and he was a three-time incumbent, and the next time he ran for office, the beef industry put money behind it, and
went for the other guy.
And chose somebody else. So be careful about where people that are giving you information, because if they're funded by the food industry, it may not be real food.
And so that's why now, instead of having diets that say eat this, don't eat that, they say low carb, low fat,
which is nutrients.
high carb,
it's not food.
High protein, no carbs. They're talking about these elements and not not actual food.
Right, not actual food, exactly. Right. And he has this funny sentence he says in Defense of Food. He says, humans can eat a lot of different diets and thrive. The standard American diet is not one of them.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
That was funny. Absolutely.
That, we really, really, as Americans particularly, need to change the way we think about food.
Yeah.
And, we talked yesterday about how in America it's all about fast and easy, and it has nothing to do with whether it tastes good or it's nutritious. And I actually started yesterday, because we were at a networking event, I started asking people questions about that. And they said, that they look for stuff that's just easy, and they don't ever think about what it actually is.
Right.
So you need to think about, is it really food, rather than is it just stuff I can throw in my body right now? Because what can happen, and I know you guys have probably heard this, you can eat a lot and be overweight, and your cells can be starving because you're just not getting real nutrients. You're not eating real food.
Right, exactly.
So,
and
go ahead.
Was it in that book or in the new book here that you asked me the 4 questions about how you think about food?
I think it was in this book, but I don't remember.
I'm sorry to throw that at you.
I know.
Maybe we'll backtrack.
When I find it, because I don't know, I was like just paging through this.
We'll come back to it tomorrow or another
And it was
day.
like healthy, easy.
Yes, and what
if people
I talked about what was the most important. I listed 4 things. What's more important? What's the least important? It's just interesting because it's just a perspective on how you as an individual would think about food, about your process of living. So,
here it is.
oh, you got it?
I do. So the 4 things it lists was health, which means you think about food as a way to prevent and reverse disease while improving your quality of life. The second one it has listed is pleasure. You need your food to taste good, and you need to feel good, which I don't think feel good and taste good should go in the same thing, but that's what they have it in pleasure. And then it has ease, which means you need living and eating to be relatively convenient and easy. And then you need acceptance, which means you need to be accepted by your friends, families, and coworkers. And even if your lifestyle is different, like you care about what people think. And I asked Russ, because it asks you in the book, put those in order: health, pleasure, ease, acceptance. And he did, and he and I have the same order. So,
right. So interesting. We'd be interested to find out from folks that watch our videos how they would put those in order.
Sean says fast food's making U.S. fat. It's true.
Yes, it's true.
So I can put a list of them, and you guys can tell us what you think.
Right.
But for us, I think it was health first. I mean, obviously health, and then. Do we pick pleasure or
no?
ease?
Acceptance was last.
Acceptance was definitely last. People cannot like what we eat, and we just don't care.
Yeah, sorry, but it's just too bad. I'm going to eat for me, not for other people.
Yeah. What?
And then it was then we were looking at pleasure and ease, and
I think for us, we picked pleasure first, just because it said feel good. It had feel good as part of it.
Right.
And then we put ease. And ease would be last, except that we care less about acceptance than we do about ease. So that was kind of interesting for us. So something to think about how you think about food, whether it's for your health, your pleasure, your ease of lifestyle, or acceptance from other people. So that was kind of cool. But anyway, back to, and that's from this book, the Forks Over Knives book I showed you earlier. Right. And then back to the In Defense of Food book, it says that the processed food has been designed to trick our senses both by taste and smell, so that our evolutionary brain that is made for us to be able to find and eat good food is tricked into believing we're eating food when we're actually eating a food-like product. Right. It's not actually food. Right. So we thought that was all kind of really interesting.
We're getting closer and closer to that little pill that everybody's going to start having for a meal.
Yeah, it's scary, right? So anyway, we thought that all those kind of facts were interesting that we were that as we were reading, and I'll continue to share information we get from these books and whatever. But obviously, if you want to read them yourself, I would absolutely 100% encourage you to do that if you have time. Yeah. But if you have stuff you'd like us to share with you, definitely ask. Because right now we're just kind of sharing what we find interesting.
We find new stuff and we look at it and we analyze it and then we try to share it when we can.
So if you have stuff that you think is would be interesting or questions you have of what we're doing, definitely please do ask. Go ahead.
I was saying I was talking to those 2 ladies at the networking event last night, and then other than the networking part, we started talking about the plant-based diet and all that stuff. And the one woman was telling me that she's got 4 kids living with her, relatively young kids, and her husband. And she just can't see how she can get them all to change their diet and do all this. And I said to her, why don't you just try meatless Mondays? Just start there. Just decide what your meal is going to be and just make it a meatless Monday.
And you can make yummy stuff. I've been doing it. So it's like I've said this over and over and over and over. It's a learning curve. Yes. It's all about changing the way you think about what you eat. Because as Americans, when we think about eating, the first thing we think is, what's the meat source? What's the animal product source? Whether it's breakfast and you're having eggs and bacon or sausage, or it's dinner and you're having beef, chicken, pork, turkey, lamb, whatever. That's the first thing we think. And then we think, okay, what do we have in addition? Right. If you start thinking in a different way about what you think first, and you use meat as a flavoring. Yeah, if you have to have it.
I thought you said use me as a flavoring, which I like to do on a normal basis, but I don't think I'd allow anybody else to do that.
No, nobody else can use Russ as a flavoring. That's not okay. You're such a goofball. But anyway, that's what we wanted to share with you today is some stuff that we learned from In Defense of Food by Michael Pollan. And he is a journalist, so he did research. He's not an MD. This book is by MDs, The Forks Over Knives.
So what's interesting about, and I'm making this go longer than we probably should.
That's all right.
But Michael Pollan was talking about, in this whole introduction into this book that we're listening to, basically what he says at the end of it is, he's talking about, and we're listening to nutritionists, we're listening to this guy, that guy. None of these people are qualified, and you're listening to a journalist.
And he does. He laughs at himself.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so it is. It's interesting.
It's
Stuff.
funny.
Yeah.
But so tomorrow we'll do the gym. We'll do breakfast. Yeah. We'll share. We'll have something else to talk about. And I will post over in the R&R Journey page. So make sure you've liked that page. I'll post what we decide to eat for our fasting day meal.
Right.
I'll post pictures and some information so you guys can see.
For the Seinfeld fans out there, I might have a big salad.
I might have a sweet potato.
Ooh,
that sounds yummy to me. So we'll see, but I'll post pictures over in R&R Journey on the page so you guys can see them over there. Please like that page. Take our survey. Thank you. Somebody came up to me yesterday at the networking event and said, I took your survey today. It was really easy. Take the survey, please. It would be very helpful. 7
questions. Very
easy. And
it's
short. It's really, if they're easy questions, all but one is multiple choice. So, super easy.
Very easy, yes.
And like I said, I have a YouTube channel. I'm still working on getting the videos all moved over there. And Russ is working on a logo for R&R Journey for the website.
Yeah, so we're getting that going too.
We're hoping to have a website before New Year's so that those of you who want to make New Year's resolutions can join the website.
Have a resource.
Have a resource from us and our workouts and our diets and whatever.
Absolutely.
So we'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll probably try to be earlier. We're a little late today.
Yes, exactly.
So you want to say from Michael Pollan our closing?
I'm going to try to remember it.
Do it right today? Okay. All right, good luck.
So folks, we ask you to,
every day,
to eat food, not too much, mostly plants.
Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.